thank you very much to all of you for what you do every day to make this city a better place. One of my family's heroes is Lieutenant Governor David Onley, and he has a wonderful saying. He said, all of us have different abilities. No one is handicapped until society handicaps them. I'm here to ensure that society, as so far as City Hall, is not handicapping our society. And I think that you have to be very careful that there are many of the other competitors who are calling for very large either tax cuts or freezes, and I don't think the numbers add up. Mr. Smitherman has said a lot of very good things, that we should be playing a lead. And there are initiatives that are very important, and I agree with those initiatives. The problem is that he too is calling for almost $300 million in reduced revenue over the next 4 years because of a freeze and because of reductions in taxes. So the question is, will Mr. Ford be able to deliver on those? I believe the math says no. And I want to be the one to deliver real value to you, not by trying to bribe you with your own money, but delivering the services you deserve and that will make the city reach its real potential. On October 25th, please consider Rocco Rossi for mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Pantalone.
It's been a real privilege to be here, hearing what you have to say and in this debate. I'd like to caution you as well. You know, I'm a city builder. I believe that we should not be freezing taxes, like Mr. Smith suggests. I don't believe we should be selling, you know, Toronto Hydro, like Mr. Rossi suggests. I don't believe that I believe we should continue giving grants to senior citizens organizations who provide Meals on Wheels for seniors that stand at home, unlike Mr. Ford, who votes against doing that. Imagine the heartless, you know, attitude of that. You know, I'd like to suggest to you that, you know, if you like the way the province of Ontario, which gets a lot of your money, has been dealt with health issues and disabilities, then you should vote for Mr. Smitherman. He's a good fiery speaker. But a lot of the issues go back there. They haven't done enough. They're giving corporate taxes and they're not giving money for people. So, very nice. George gives a nice speech. But you know what? Look at the deeds. If you like what the City of Toronto's been doing, which basically is Street to Homes project, taking 2,800 people off the street, of which 91% stay off the street. If you like us doing what we did in Regent Park, we're doing Lawrence Heights, in terms of the accommodation fund that I spoke about, you know, and basically doing the extra, acknowledging that we only get 8% of all the taxes paid in the city, and 92% go to, you know, the province and the feds. You know, then, you know, I would like to suggest to you that you maybe want to build for a city builder who's not going to freeze taxes, like Smitherman is, which means going to be less money to spend on people, and people are going to be left behind. You know, Joe Pantalone does not believe you should leave anybody behind, whether you're building transit, whether you're providing assistance to priority neighborhoods, or whether you accommodate those who have special needs. That's what you'll get with Joe Pantalone as mayor. Want to learn more about me, check my website, mayorjoe.ca, and thank you for the privilege of being with you this afternoon. I really enjoyed the
Well, tempting as it might be, I'm not going to engage in a war of words with these two gentlemen, because they are not the enemy in this election. The enemy in this election is Councillor Ford, because his values are not my values. I want to tell you very, very clearly that it is a Toronto that has lived up to its motto, diversity our strength, that has given this young man, a self-made man from, I'm not so young, but as a young man, I have been given the opportunities to fulfill my potential in Toronto, even though I have had some struggles along the road. I've been open about my dealings with addiction, And like many of you, I've sought to confront those challenges. In my own family, learned the circumstances of people dealing with mental health issues and the like. And the reality is, for all of us, on October 25th, we have an incredibly stark choice. The choice is about whether our values will continue to be reflected in the way that our city operates, or whether we're going to throw those values overboard and start down a different path. And I am here to tell you that I am the candidate best positioned to keep us on the path that we're on. I'm not a candidate of the status quo. I like Joe Pantalone and I like David Miller, but I don't like everything that they've done, and I think City Hall can be better than it is. And I don't like the approach that simply creates committees, because sometimes that's all talk and no action. Check out my record. I'm proud of my record as a government minister. I got a lot done. And the reality is that the same energy that I brought then is the energy that I wish to bring to the office of mayor. And there's a couple of issues and questions that came up but didn't come up to me, and I want to let you know about them. Because I think that the Pan Am Games is going to be one of the great opportunities for our city to celebrate progress. I want to do a thing, I call it Pan Am Boot Camp. That means by 2015 we get our infrastructure and our people in better shape, and I promise $15 million of additional spending each year on recreation, and that's recreation for all people in the city of Toronto. And secondly, because I think it's time that we got our physical infrastructure in better shape within the city's $2.5 billion capital budget, I will get a program that works in partnership with organizations to create more accessibility in some of the spaces so badly in need of it in the city of Toronto. I'm George Smitherman. I share your values. I want to work with you to beat Rob Ford. I want to be your mayor, and I hope you vote for me on October 25th. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank the candidates for attending our discussion today, and I hope for all of you what you heard today helps inform your decision when you cast your ballot. I also encourage you to stay informed by listening to CBC Radio and watching CBC television.